everybody. So it's possible that looking at the videos from last weekend may have given the idea that I discovered something that I already knew about. So to clear up any confusion that may be part of these videos, I just kind of want to explain exactly what happened. So after last week, I was relatively sure that the door was key. But bottom line, it could have just been a coincidence that the simulation showed up right when I was looking into the door. So I had to come up with some way of finding out whether or not this was definitively important. And so when the simulation showed up and told me to stay away from the door, I realized that the door was, to some degree, important. But I didn't quite know how important. I mean, yes, it told me to stay away, but it's possible that it's just a minor annoyance if I figure it out, that it could still stop me. But what really made me realize just how important this door is was when the other singing guy, who I'm fairly certain is still back there somewhere, told me that the simulation told him to tell me to stay away from the door. This is big because the simulation is going out of its way to tell somebody else to tell me to stay away from the door, which means that it must be important. Also, there's the kind of unfortunate possibility that the simulation got out of the house. Now, I'm not 100% sure. It's possible that the singing guy found the simulation while he was wandering downstairs, but there is every possibility that the simulation had this conversation with singing guy outside the house. And if that is the case, then we're running out of time. But as things stand at the moment, I can't do much, so I might as well go right into the next song. So after Mary wandered around the house looking for the source of the crying, she found it. The source of the crying was Archibald's son and Mary's cousin, Colin. And after a brief conversation, Colin sings this song about this dream that he keeps having. Now, the first thing that this song does is let us see this hint that Archibald does, in fact, love his son. Because it's important to point out that we have never even heard of Colin before this moment in the musical. He's never talked about, and Archibald has never mentioned him, and Colin even outright states that his father hates him. But with this song, we get Colin singing about this round-shouldered man who takes him off on adventures. And, in case I forgot to mention it before, because it's possible that I did, Archibald is a hunchback, so he does have round shoulders. And Mary even speculates that Archibald may come in and read to Colin, and that's what Colin is seeing and dreaming about. So with this song, we do get that hint that it is possible that, in fact, Archibald does love his son. But what we also get with this song is just a reminder that Colin is 10. And this is one of those things that you almost do need to be reminded of, because Colin, I don't want to say he's mature for his age, because he's not really, but he's been aged quite a bit by this disease and his reaction to it. Because Colin is a very sickly boy. He has never really left his bed, and he talks about his own death constantly. So you can almost forget that this is a 10-year-old boy who's dealing with the possibility of his own death. So we get this song where Colin sings about all of these adventures that he has in his dreams with this round-shouldered man, and they're very outlandish and very, 10-year-old. It's just nice to see this 10-year-old side of Colin, because it's not a side that we see very often here in the beginning of the musical. And I say beginning, but we're actually approaching the end of Act 1, but, his first appearance, we don't see this side of him very often. So, that's all for this week's song. Tune in next week for next week's song. See you then!
Of all that's good and true. Colin, I just realized your cousin